Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So as we discussed earlier or as I informed earlier, so this is my first session on Spring Boot security, basic session. So where we are going to learn basics of Spring Boot security. So what we are going to learn in this session is like what is authentication and authorization, what are the dependencies used, what is the basic configuration with a default username and password which we use in Spring Security, and how do we configure in-memory details and roles configuration, and what is the difference between web security and the HTTP security. So without wasting a time, let's move on to the technical details of it. So let us understand first, before we jump into the code, what is authentication and what is authorization. In a simple word, you can say that authentication is just who you are. You have to identify yourself, and authorization is like what all the access you have after you identify yourself. So for example, assume that you created one of the application or a site software where you sign up in that software. So sign up is nothing but you are creating your authentication details over there. It's like your username and password. So once you generated your username and password, the next time when you are trying to log in, it will authenticate you with that username and password. Whether you are a right user or not, with your credentials are right or not, that is nothing but whether you have access to that software to log in or not. So that is nothing but your authentication. Now the authorization. So once you logged into that particular software or any of the site, in fact any other thing, so what all the access you might have in that. For example, assume that you are logging into some of the software which has a different roles in that, where admin is one of the role, and normal user is another type of a role. So you might see the data only which belongs to your role, that is maybe a normal user, but admin might see more data than you because he has a authorization that to that particular pages, or maybe a more data to that. So it's more of a what access you have once you logged into any of the applications or anything. This is just an example, so that is nothing but what access you have. So authentication is who you are, authorization is what access you have once you are authenticated. So this is the basic concept of authentication and authorization. So you can refer to a lot of other guides which will given in detail, but high level you can understand this is the basic concept behind it. So now let us understand what is the Spring Boot security, how it is implemented. To implement Spring Boot security, you needed two dependencies, that is basically Spring Boot Starter Web dependency and Spring Boot Starter Security dependency, which will provide a lot of inbuilt functionality to you. You can find it on them in the Spring Initializer.io. You can see that. You can just go ahead and search here like web. You will already see it. If you see it already, it's like security Spring Boot. You will also see it that security already is a part of that. So you can see those all the come to Spring Security and Spring Web. You will be able to see it. So what I did is like I added those two dependencies in my application. The same application I'm using, which is we used for the Swagger implementation, and this is I'll be uploading it to Git as well. So this is the same application, I'm extending it to this video as well. So if you want to learn about the Swagger configuration and the structure of this project, everything, so just please refer my older video for Swagger configuration. So now let us move on to the how it is implemented. So what I did is I added a two these dependencies. I added a one application security config for my class. So this is serves as a configuration class for my whole project, and I just added a one overridden method for that, that is nothing but configure, where I have added a simple configuration. I am allowing each and everything in this particular application with a basic username and password. So let us run this application. So I'm trying to run this application, so let us see. So now you are wondering where I have configured username and password. So I have not configured any username and password here, because Spring provides a basic username and password or a default username and password, that is nothing but a user as a username, and password that will be generated in your console. So if you see using generated security password, you will see it. Now let me go back to my application properties. Let me see, I'm running it on 8091. So if you see, if I hit 8091, it will ask me username and password by using a default pop-up. So you might ask where this pop-up came. See, try to understand here. So Spring provides a basic form login or a pop-up, you can say, which it will be entered into a username and password. I'm not using here any fancy UI here because this session is more to understand the basic concepts of a Spring and their security layer. So I'm just using a by default Spring form login or a basic pop-up login, what you want to say. See, here I'm copying this generated security password. I'm using it as a user, as a username, and password this. So if you see, I'm logged into a application now. So where this logged into application is returning, let me go to my login controller. See, this is the configuration, or maybe one of the path which I given is like slash anything request comes, which is slash, which is redirecting to a basic login details method, which is returning a login into application details. So here it is no configuration, nothing. I'm allowing it with a basic credentials or a default credentials which Spring provides, and if it is success, it just return that you are logged into application. Here nothing, no user roles or everything's nothing. It's a simple any user with a username and the default password which is provided by Spring can be able to log in, and it will return you a basic data. Now let us move ahead with my configuration class. So let's see. So this is the basic configuration what I have. So let me comment out and I'm enable the advanced configuration. So here I just commented because you can implement only one overridden class there. So I just implemented that for that. So now this is the same configuration class what we have. If you can see, it just implement the same configuration. So now in this I'll explain you how you create your own username and password and the roles and how you provide access to that particular roles and everything. Let me stop this because I just made a changes to my classes. So this is the basic configuration of these things. Let me try to understand first how do you configure username and the password. So I'm using the auto-add method of a configure global, that is basic, and authentication manager builder is a class which will provide you the inbuilt implementation where you can configure your username and password into our application. So you can just look into it and go over the details, what it takes and how it binds to your manager and how it implements with manager builders. It has a lot of data. So due to time constraint, I'll not go in much detail for that. So I'm using a in-memory authentication because I'm not here using any database or any other things where you can configure your username and password or encode those and decrypt all those things. So I'm not going into that fancy details of all those things. So let us try to understand with the basic in-memory. So that in-memory in the sense it will just be a part of your application memory. You can use this username and password. So I'm adding it as auth in-memory authentication with a username as a user, password as also user, and role also I'm assigning as a user. And I'm adding one more user as a username as admin, password as a admin, and role as a admin. So now what you did, you just created your username and password and the roles. Now let us see how do you configure these roles with a particular path. Suppose as I said, authentication authorization, somebody might have access to some pages, somebody might not have that two pages, maybe somebody else might have that. Based on the roles it will be defined. So assuming that we have two roles here, one is user and admin, let's see how I configured here. So basically you see this is the HTTP any request, incoming request, and matches is like whatever the path it matches. So if is the slash, it permits all irrespective of the user role, it permits everyone. Now I have one more AND matches where my path is home page and role I configured is user and the admin. So if the user also logs in and the admin also logs in with a proper username and the password, it allows you to log in for the home page. And if you look at the admin page, I has a only role for admin here. So for the admin and admin role, which I given it to here, and which has username and the user home page for only for the user here. So let us see how it runs here first. So I'm just running the details over here, how it works. So let me see run and show you guys how it works for those things. So I just created a two users with a different roles, like user and the admin, same kind of a roles, and I'm just trying to run it here. All those things. See, if you see now, I'm using a extended configuration, advanced configuration. You don't see the default password is generating here because I'm using inbuilt authentication for those things. So let us, without wasting a time, let us see. I'll try to access those things. So what I given is like /homepage. Let's see, I'll try to access /homepage from here. Let us understand. So it is prompting me username and password. Let us do as a user. I'll also do a user. It's like sign in. So see, you logged into application access to all user. So I logged in with the user credentials. Now you'll be able to see. And one more thing I want to tell you, that we are not explicitly logging out with some of the things. So what I did is like configured the logout path here, so that I can just log out and clear all those memory things, and not really clear, but it will override those things, and it will ask you to explicitly log in again, so that I given a logger. So once you already logged in with the username, so what I do is like I'll just log out. So what it does, it's prompted me again with a sign in username and password. So what I did is like, so I'll put it as an admin now. I'll put it as an admin. So if you see, you logged into application, it is coming back. I'm sorry, the battery is running low, but yes, that is, you logged into application, because you see it here when you logged into application, because it took us this path already. So you're not logged into that, because you're not using a home page, you are just using a slash over there. So it took admin because it has a access to everything. So what I'll do, one more time, I'll do a logout, and what we can do is like, I'll just show you with the admin homepage. So it is asking for username and password for you, again admin. Let me see. Yeah, so if you look at it, it's asking for that. So I did it. What is admin? It is admin. So if you see, you can logged into application with a homepage access to admin only. So if you see that I'm trying to access to admin, it is only to the admin. So what I'll try to show you guys now, I'll just let me log out for a better understanding. I'll just logged out. What I'll do, I'll try to access again admin page with the user credentials. Let's see here, admin. So what you do is user and user. See, it's not thrown me an error page because I have not mapped any error to explicitly any page. So it just shown me that you are not authorized here. So this is a fallback screen which you are showing it here. So that is because admin homepage is only accessible to admin. So where I configured all those things, if you look at this admin homepage, these are just a REST API methods, so you can easily understand like what it is returning and what it is not. It's just a basic REST API, so that I'll not spend much time into it. It's just REST API. So one is created for all the users, one I created for the admin homepage, one I created for the user homepage. Homepage in the sense, it's just redirecting to that particular string of a homepage when I use. For a better understanding, I'm just calling it as a homepage path, configured as a homepage path here. So if you look at it here, it is denied now. So what you did is like, if the whole user homepage is there, it's only allowed for the user. If you try to logged in with the admin credential, it is denying you the permissions. So this is the basic very high level concept, like you can configure your paths based on the role and everything that it will take on to those things. So now what you can do is like, I'll just stop the server. What we can do is like, now you might ask a questions like we might have a n number of paths over there, or n number of controllers. How do we want to do that? So what we can do is like, I'll just show you, instead of configuring it only page by path by path, what we do, user / star. So this is a generic these things, expressions, star, like allowed everyone, anything comes by user and a star, and with a user role as a user role, it is allowed. So what I'll do, I'll just go to my one of the user controller which I created earlier. See, this is the path. I have a user, and after that user we have this all paths and everything. So let us try accessing fetch all method from that user. So I'll try to run it again. So what we are going to do is like, we are going to access this fetch all method using a user role with the username and password of the users. Okay, so this is how do you generally configure your paths, your authorizations. Like I am allowing uh, user here for a role with this path. So whatever it comes after the user slash, it is all allowed. So what I do, let's start and access. What we can do is, like, let us take what it is. I'll try to do that fetch all, because it is already added as a part of the user slash fetch all. If you look at it, it will ask for me again. So any request coming, because it will ask username password, because we are integrated Spring Boot security here, all the dependencies and everything. So what I do is a user, I given it a username, it is one. So I given it here. See, if you see, it is returning a data because user and fetch all is allowed here for any user who is having a role as a user, and same username password whatever you configure here, that you can take it here. So it's just a high level thing you need to understand. How do you configure, or how do you bypass your paths or your requests to the particular URLs based on the roles and based on the authentication authorization. So this is more of a authorization part, who having access to what, and this is of authentication part, like whether you have a correct user or not, username and password is not. So it is authorizes. Once authentication is done, it authorizes with all of the details over here. And you might be aware of that few of the things, like enable web security and a normal HTTP security we are using. See, enable web security comes from the annotation. It's mostly a, you can see that a global annotation which will be used in an application applied at the higher level. And if you see it takes as a web security. Generally what happens, like when you have a total web application with including all the resources and everything, we're trying to ignore those all paths which comes part of the resources and everything, so that we'll use the web security. But web security always takes a higher precedence than your HTTP security. If I do what I do, if I admin homepage, if I allow user and add it here in the web security as a parameter with the configure as a overridden method, it will allow, even though I configured here otherwise, it has a no effect. So web security, it takes always higher precedence when you are implementing with enable security. So that's just a matter of what we want to use, whether a web security or a normal security, HTTP security. It's depending on the use case. So I'm just using a configuration here, as it's a basic configuration I'm trying to explain here with all those details. Let me see what all I covered already. Yes, authentication and dependencies and configurations and in-memory roles and web security. More or less I covered everything. So in the next videos, I'll try to come up with a more configuration. We will try to build a small application with security and everything. This is just to mean for given high overview and basic things for you guys. So let us understand how it works and understand what all the importance of this and how basically Spring Security works on that. Thank you. Thanks all.